The Lunaverse, episode 26 at the Grand Galloping Gala by Rainbow Double Dash. Chapter 11, On System Motion, Part 1. Suzanne couldn't stop herself from scowling as she tried, for the fifth time, to get close to Blue Blood. Even beside him would have been just fine. Just close enough to discreetly add a few drops of Curvis' scourge to his drink. It hadn't worked. Trying to directly levitate some in, acquiring some very fine applications to telekinesis, proved fruitless as well, due to that earth point always getting in the way every single time. She was like a hurricane in pink, moving around Blue Blood constantly as she talked to him, non-stop, barely pausing for breath. Blue Blood himself seemed to be gradually growing to regret his decision to remain with her for the night, but had apparently not yet been exasperated enough to send her away or try to duck out. An impressive feat of self-control in and of itself, as he had not yet had time to actually take a single sip from his drink. So engaged was the pink earth point keeping from him. That was particularly grating on Suzanne as well. That Blue Blood's paces for the pink pony seemed to outstrip her own. She was the one dealing with her. She would only assume that he was keeping the exasperation, assuaged with thoughts of how that energy could be put to use later, after the gala. Suddenly Suzanne couldn't count on herself. The vessel's saboteur stopped a hoof at it all, daring any of the nearby ponies who saw her to ask why. As Raindrops rejoined her, "No luck?" Suzanne glared at the Pegasus. "This is your fault," she noted. "If you had just been acting more feminine like I told you to!" Raindrops grimaced, one of her hooves twisting. She visibly took several moments to calm herself before responding. "Piggy Pie came out of nowhere," she said in a determinedly even tone. "It's not my fault." Suzanne's eye twitched, as he levitated out of her pocket watch and checked it again. She had been at this for half an hour. It was now 9 o'clock. Trixie's plan calling for activating all the truth points at midnight, and she still had to make sure that Blue Unicorn's other idiot friends weren't screwing up. Part of Suzanne's profession was knowing when to cut one's losses and move on to the next target. "Okay," she said. "Forget it. Stay here. Get him if you can, but I have other places to be." Raindrops nodded, looking relieved at the thought of Suzanne going away. Unicorn herself was glad to be going. She seemed fairly certain that Raindrops wanted to pummel her face in since they had first met. Whatever, she had a job to do. She did, however, take a slight detour on her way towards finding next to Trixie's friends. Her musings about not knowing when to cut one's losses, and reminded her of another Max's of sabotage and blackmail, always have an escape plan. It only took a few minutes by and behind the punch tables to set up hers. Trixie got a creepy feeling back of her neck, the almost supernatural sense that something was watching her. Looking around, she found the source of the feeling quickly in the form of golden, annoyed-looking eyes. After a moment, she realized that the eyes belonged to a blue pony with a darker blue mane that was approaching her swiftly. A unicorn dressed in a maroon jacket and black nightshirt. Nothing else. Surprisingly simple attire for a viceroy. Nightlight finished his trot up to Trixie, and though he visibly grimaced as he closed in, his eyes darted elsewhere. Trixie followed him. She saw Luna, who was in the midst of gala, talking with ponies and seemingly paying no mind to what was happening over the bar. At least, until she glanced up and gave Nightlight a hard glare. It was no harder, though, than the one that Trixie gave to Nightlight herself, as her attention turned back to him, even as she felt heat rising in her chest and at the back of her neck. Nightlight closed his eyes, breathing out a long sigh. "Representative Trixie," he said, "my actions concerning Ponyville over the past week have been reprehensible, as was the ultimatum delivered to you. I apologize." Trixie's own eyes narrowed. She had been trying for months now to apologize for her own slights against the Starlight family, and had meant it every time. Now Nightlight thought he could just trot up while Luna was watching and expect her to take it. "You're only apologizing because Luna is making you," she nodded. "You're not sorry." Nightlight considered a moment. "The princess only asked I offer an apology," he noted. "She said nothing of waiting all night for you to accept it." With that, Nightlight turned swiftly on his host, trying off. Trixie snored, turning back to her drink, considering a moment, then drinking in a single gulp. Suddenly, having only one drink before dinner wasn't seeming like something she wanted to do, plan or no plan. It was then she heard a motherly voice whisper into her ear via earring. "Trixie," Dizzy said, I'm only telling this because you're my friend. You're an idiot. Hey! Trixie exclaimed. Fortunately, no pony noticed. Dizzy's gala experience had, so far, proven to be a somewhat lackluster compared to both what it was made out to be and what had been told to expect. Not that she wasn't enjoying herself. It was just that doing so by talking to her friends from Ponyville and keeping an eye on Dinky. Both things probably could have been done back in Ponyville itself. Dinky was enjoying herself, though. Some of the night court and other guests brought their own foals, as had a large number of the Ponyvillians. On seeing the unexpectedly large number, about 30 in all, especially little ponies this year, Luna had guided them, noble and common both, over to one corner of the ice palace. She then used her magic to sculpt it into a small play area, complete with slides, tunnels, swings, and even a sandbox. Though the sand in this case was instead snow. All of it magically kept warm via the same enchantment that kept the ice palace intact. Once finished, she pulled inside a pair of night guards and instructed them to keep an eye on the foals, so that their parents, if they wanted to, could still enjoy the gala without a need for worry. Ditsy hadn't felt a need to engage the gala much. Her part in the plan, in her mind, and weren't capitalization, wasn't until its end. Instead, she simply wants this Dinky played with both her friends from Ponyville and made new friends with other foals who had come. While at the first, the two groups of foals had kept to themselves fairly split among noble commoner lines. Almost as soon as Dinky worked up the courage to go over to the nobles, was it not taking long, the line blurred, and had disappeared entirely within minutes. Ah! Came prepared. I asked my mom to give me some diabetic meals. Dinky's special talent isn't making friends, Ditsy mused. I'm going to lodge a complaint with the universe. Ditsy herself never had too much trouble getting along with other ponies, but Dinky was capable of forging actual friendships a pro and nothing. Serendipity saw to that Ditsy happened to glance away from the icy playground just as Viceroy Nightlight walked to the gala. He was dressed simply for a viceroy, no better than any of the other Ponyville stallion in attendance. Looked almost like something you put on solely so he could claim to be properly dressed. He spent a few moments looking around, before his eyes settled on Trixie, still sitting at the bar, where she was directing everybody else's efforts in the plan. He immediately made a beeline for her. Dizzy was far too late to tell exactly what was said, of course, but simply seeing the expressions of Trixie's and Nightlight's faces told her everything she needed to know. Nightlight turned around quickly, the entire exchange making less than 30 seconds. Ditsy frowned, hopping over the small wall that separated the play area, and tried over to Dinky, who was taking upside down in the jungle gym, talking to one of her new friends as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Nothing, Ditsy said. I'm going to go get a quick snack and talk to some friends, okay? Dinky nodded, writing herself. Okay, Mama, she said, giving a salute. I won't leave the playground. Ditsy smiled, nuzzling Dinky, who was either not old enough yet, or else anyone else was more than wise enough to not begrudge the open side of affection, and instead returned it wholeheartedly. Though, again, without writing herself on the jungle gym. Without for reassurance, Ditsy tried out the playground. As he did, she tested the Luna to the magic she wore. Trixie, she said quietly, I'm only telling you this because you're my friend. You're an idiot. Hey! Trixie exclaimed from the other end. Ditsy ignored the remainder of her retort as she tried, looking for Nightlight. Though, she wet her whistle with some punts and passing Major D first. So she hadn't been able to keep an eye on Nightlight. That had been an impediment for Ditsy. She was able to locate him again easily enough, catching up to the Viceroy just as he was about to leave the Ice Palace. Viceroy Nightlight! She called after him, before he could leave the gala completely. Nightlight paused in his retreat, turned to look at Ditsy. Like every pony on meeting her face for the first time, he was thrown off by the sight of her walled eyes. Currently, her right eye was basically on him, but the left was looking outwards and down, towards the floor. And whatever was about to say was a loss for the barest of moments before he recovered. Realizing he was staring, and immediately stopped by overcompensating, staring into the right eye, a touch too much intensity. I'd just like to say, I'd like to thank Pony and Ditsy for teaching me how to actually talk to a walled-eyed person that I met at Dollywood once. Ditsy was more than used to the reaction by now. Then holding against the Viceroy, she bowed, spreading her wings a bit. Your Excellency, she said, my name's Ditsy Dew. I'm a mailman from Ponyville,
in one of episodes of Trixie's. Sorry, I had to do roll my eyes just once.
Nightlight's muscles scratched at that, almost impeccably. Yes, I recall now. He erupted, his voice even as he controlled as he could make it. It was almost like he was trying to do an impressive raindrops, Ditsy mused. Element of kindness. With respect, Miss Dew, I'm afraid I've had all the Trixie I could stomach for one night already. Ditsy frowned at that, as he tried to block the Viceroy's exit.
You don't know what I'm here to talk about.
She nodded. Is it Miss Trixie? Ditsy's wings fluttered slightly of her own accord.
Basically,
Ditsy admitted. Nightlight nodded, unsurprised. The matter between myself and Miss Trixie, Miss Dew, is a private one.
Your Excellency,
Ditsy interrupted, as he stepped a little closer.
when you denied aid to Ponyville, it stopped being private.
Nightlight glared down at Dew, although he didn't seem to think of a retort for that. Ditsy idly wondered when was the last time somebody had cornered and challenged him so openly was. Surprisingly, he didn't seem to be taking it poorly as he closed his eyes, letting out a long sigh. Miss Dew, he said, my sole reason for coming to the gala tonight was to apologize to Miss Trixie over the matter. She did not accept the apology. The matter, therefore, is something I consider to be closed. He opened his eyes. There could be no reconciliation between myself and Miss Trixie. Ditsy looked to Nightlight over.
You didn't come to apologize, she said. Oh, you can't just say the words, but you're not sorry.
Nightlight nodded. You're very astute, Miss Dew, he said. There can be no reconciliation between myself and Trixie. You are too young to understand why. In a way, what Nightlight said was almost a compliment, albeit an unintentional one. Ditsy nevertheless shook her head. When she stopped, she found her eyes shifted a little, and adjusted herself so one of them would continue to be focused on Nightlight, even as the other now looked at the ceiling.
What do you mean, too young?
She asked, though she knew what he probably meant. Nightlight sighed again, even as his maid moved to past Ditsy. When you have foals of your own, you'll know, he said, probably intending to sound very grave and wise as he did. Racing out a huff, blocking Nightlight's path.
I do have a foal of my own, Ditsy said.
She meant to be standing in front of Nightlight again.
A little filly. She's here tonight, actually.
Nightlight was genuinely surprised, as he did a double take of Ditsy. I'm sorry, he said. You look too, well, as I assume. Ditsy's own eyes widened, as this how flabbergasted Nightlight seemed to become. His posture, tone of voice, all completely sane. More to the point, he seemed to become much more natural and familiar to him. After several long moments, he realized he was stuttering. It took a moment to settle himself. I'm sorry, he said.
Ditsy smiled. It's all right. If you probably makes that mistake,
she said, fluttering her wings slightly. She turned, pointing back to the play area.
That's her, the little unicorn filly hanging upside down. Her name's Dicky too.
She looked back to Nightlight.
You knew I was the element of kindness, but didn't know I was a mother?
Nightlight shifted uncomfortably, gradually becoming more controlled and constrained again. I'm afraid I didn't, he admitted. He considered Ditsy Dew for several long moments. Miss Dew, as a mother, you must understand where I'm coming from, then. I am genuinely sorry that I involved you in my troubles with Miss Trixie. But as I said, there could be no reconciliation between us. It is Trixie's fault that my daughter is missing at all.
Ditsy pursed her lips at this. Your Excellency, Ditsy said, with respect, one of the hardest things I have yet to learn as a parent is that my daughter isn't infallible. Isn't a perfect little flutter pony. She's made mistakes, got into fights, started fights. She's still young enough that her mistakes are big. They don't last. But I learned that even though she's my daughter, I should always give her the benefit of the doubt. She's going to be in the wrong sometimes.
Ditsy looked closely at Nightlight.
I was there when Trixie and Twilight first met, she said. Trixie was defensive and ready for a fight. But that was because Twilight had called her magic fake while she was in the middle of a stage show for foals. And then came backstage just to continue calling Trixie a fraud. There's a lot Trixie could have done with to deal with the situation better. But there's a lot Twilight could have done too.
Nightlight shook his head. You don't understand.
Your Excellency, I don't think you do. I think you're just blindly lashing out at Trixie.
What else can I do? Nightlight demanded, turning back to Trixie with his horn lighting up, a golden glow instinctively in air. As Ditsy backed up several steps, her wing flaring in surprise. The announcement caused every pony around to stumble to return, to turn and stare. Nightlight looked at each of them, daring them to interfere. After several moments, the assembled ponies made a show of going back to their conversations in the gala, though careful eyes were kept on the Viceroy. Nightlight's gaze turned to Dizzy as he tried up back to her, quelling the angry glow of his horn as he did. What else can I do? A second time, barely above a whisper, I am Viceroy of Nightlight of Latigo, and though I claim the title by marriage to the Starlight family, I have more than earned it after 30 years of service to the crown. I have created and struck down laws. My every decision affects the lives of hundreds and thousands of ponies at a time. I have negotiated treaties and ended wars with Temple Gardens. I have bended knee to no mortal pony, and owe my fealty only to the princess herself. And it is only her will that could have dragged me into this mockery of civility and celebration that the Grand Galloping Gala has become. And yet, in spite of all that, the Viceroy backed away from Ditzy. All of a sudden, his voice racing to disappear, along with his self-righteousness, his pride, everything as he slipped like an ancient pony, staggering under the weight of too heavy a load. In spite of all that, he said, I'm powerless. My daughter is lost and alone somewhere. If she's even alive, there's nothing I can do. Let's back to Ditzy. The only thing I know, he said, is that my daughter blames Trixie. That it was the actions of Trixie that led her to act as she did. And that is out some deep, abiding concern over her. So tell me, Miss Stew, what else can I possibly do? What else would you do in my place if your daughter was made missing, and there was a pony out there who could be blamed for it? Dixie had a good sense of exactly what she would do. There's some very bad ponies out there trying to kidnap her daughter, and she had not taken it well, at all. But there was a difference here, between her own experience and Nightlight's.
That pony was trying to reach out to me, she said. She was trying to apologize over and over again. I wouldn't try to force that pony out of her lifelong dream. I wouldn't threaten that pony's hometown. I know that you'll find this hard to believe, but I forgive her. And I hope we can work together to find my daughter again.
Nightlight looked Dizzy over for several moments, before turning around, making to leave the gala. He only went a few steps, however, before stopping, standing still, thinking long and hard. At length, he walked back over to Ditzy, stared down at her for several long moments, before closing his eyes and bowing his head. Miss Dew, he said, you are a far better pony than I am. Ditzy offered a slight smile.
I don't think so, she said softly. I made mistakes too.
Yours didn't nearly destroy lives. Ditzy's own smile faltered at that. He was right. She hadn't nearly destroyed lives. She just had.
I wish that were the case,
she said softly. Nightlight looked up at that, surprised, but Dizzy only shook her head.
But that's not what's important right now. Your Excellency, Trixie knows better than to hold on to hate. You go up to her and apologize. Really apologize? She'll accept. If she really wants to apologize to you, you can let her.
Nightlight grimaced as he looked past Ditzy, back towards the bar. Ditzy followed his gaze with one eye. Trixie had just received a second drink, and this one a bourbon. She did not look like she intended to make it last. The Viceroy's grimace worsened as he grabbed a drink of his own from a maitre d' and stopped it off her blood. Alarm bells went off in Ditzy's head as he remembered she wasn't just here to try and fix things between the Starlights and Trixie, and further noted a very faint green tinge in Nightlight's drink. She stopped Nightlight before he could take a drink.
Maybe you should get a drink of Trixie instead, Viceroy,
she said, gently removing the drink from Nightlight's evanescent aura and placing it on the serving tray, and ignoring the maitre d's scowl.
If I know Trixie, she'll want to do this over bourbon.
Nightlight frowned slowly, before nodding and heading off towards Trixie. Dixie followed at a respectful distance, making sure to keep out of sight. She didn't want Trixie to accept the apology just because she was watching, after all. It needed to be genuine. From where she was, she couldn't hear what was being said, only to observe what had happened. Trixie turned around as Nightlight approached, perpetually aware of him, or else possibly catching his reflection in her glass of bourbon. She wore the deepest scowl that Dizzy had ever seen her wear, one that easily masked the look of hate Nightlight had been wearing. Natalie said something, and Trixie said something back. It didn't look like whatever she had said had been kind. Natalie almost looked like he was going to give up right there. But he didn't. Instead leaning forward and saying something again. Trixie was visibly taken aback, a sneer dropping into a look of surprise. Trixie edged a little closer. Trixie's attention was focused on Hal and Nightlight, and she wouldn't notice the Great Pegasus' approach.
Really are sorry,
Dizzy heard Trixie said, when she was finally close enough. I am, Nightlight said. I do not hate you, Representative Trixie. I don't care about you, but my daughter. He looked down. I want to know where she is. I want her back. I would give anything, do anything if I thought it would help. That sentiment made me threaten the livelihoods of hundreds of ponies just to try and destroy everything you've ever wanted. Nightlight went to Trixie. I should not have done that. Trixie opened her mouth to speak, but paused first. She looked down at her host.
Your Excellency, she said, when I first met Twilight, the circumstances weren't good. We fought, yelled at each other, called her respectably stupid, and so I made her look like a tribalist in front of the entire town.
She let out a long sigh.
I should have been better.
And I as well, Nightlight could see it. But I am sorry, Representative.
Me too, Viceroy.
The two stared at each other awkwardly. They weren't friends now. They would never be friends. That was understood and accepted. Perhaps a little sad, but it didn't mean they had to be enemies. It didn't mean that they had to glare hatred and anger at each other every time they met, do everything in their power to ruin each other's lives. Because the simple fact of it was it going to get them anywhere. Trixie looked at her glass of bourbon and poured herself out the contents of the second glass she procured from the counter. She offered one to Nightlight, who took it.
Votre santé,
Viceroy. Nasutazi, Padre Cezanne. He returned a light Zaski. The two drained the contents of their glasses. After he was finished, he set the glass on the counter, now once and left. Trixie watched him go for several moments, before breathing out a long-winded, long-needed sigh of relief. Dizzy let out one of her own as she tried over to Trixie.
It might not feel like it, she said, but you'll sleep easier tonight. Trust me.
Trixie eyed the Pegasus as she got a refill on her bourbon, as well as a glass of bourbon for Titsy.
I'm not an idiot, she insisted at length.
Titsy sighed.
No, you're not, she conceded. But when Nightlight came over here a few minutes ago, did you even try to accept his apology?
Trixie looked away.
No,
she admitted. She turned back to Titsy.
But he wasn't really here to apologize. He was only doing it because Luna made him.
Titsy unfurled away, wrapping around Trixie.
I know, she said, but if you're not even going to try to work with that, you'll never get anywhere. I know it's hard, but if you don't do the stuff that's hard, then the stuff never gets easier.
Titsy paused, letting that sink in before continuing.
He was angry, scared, and directing it all at you, because he didn't have anywhere to direct it. But now it's over and done with. You two can move on to the important things.
Titsy considered for several excellent moments, glancing up just a second tier of the Ice Palace. Above, the band was stopping for a 15-minute break. Trixie in particular had her eyes on Activia.
Why don't I just throw you at all my problems?
She asked, smiling slightly.
Titsy shook her head. Nightlight wouldn't have listened to anything I said at all if he had been trying so hard over the past few months.
She assured Trixie, leaning in to give Trixie a friendly nuzzle. Once the unicorn returned, her voice dropped lower though.
What do you need me to do with Activia?
She asked. She didn't recall the earphone usage being mentioned anywhere in the plan.
Just double-checking my soundproofing spell,
she said, pulling away from Ditsy and standing.
Probably not necessary, but I feel better knowing that it works. Keep an eye open for shining armor while I'm gone. He should be here any minute. Sure, Ditsy agreed. Just be careful. If I recall correctly, Activia doesn't like you at all.
Trixie shrugged off, trying off.
Horse consumers, I'll come and get you,
she said. Pinky stopped to breathe. Fupa saw his cans and suggested that perhaps.
What do you think sounds better?
The pink pony asked before Bluebite could even take a breath to speak.
Jerry Saga or Jimmy Jerry? Or what I can find you? Jimmy Jerry Saga! What's the else funniest? I like funny words. One of my favorite words is coconut. I can't make that one up.
Well, he was just a little filly, 8 decades ago now. The parents of future first-rate Poussins told her that she would never want for anything. For the vast majority of life, this had been fundamentally true. Right now, however, she found herself wanting for something, namely for Luna to put some damn clothes on. What does he think she's doing? Poussins wondered as she eyed the monarch of Equestria from across the gala. Of course, Poussins understood the reasoning behind Luna choosing to appear in such a simple state. What not more than a cape and crown. Poussins wasn't an idiot. She knew that Luna wanted to reach out to the common pony she had invited. She could never understand the reasoning behind it. That did not change, however. That Luna was making Poussins look bad. The Viceroy had literally been preparing for this gala since the last one. She did the same for every gala. Well, she took care of her duties, of course. At the end of the day, the gala was just one more social event, and hardly compared to making sure that her fiefdom was prosperous and wealthy, that Equestria's governance had to foresee in a way she was satisfied with. But she had an entire team of ponies on her payroll, who would analyze designer trends and make sure that whatever she was wearing to the gala was the height of taste and splendor. That particular black, diamond-studded dress she wore tonight had cost her precisely 5,612,032 bits, and 4 jangles. This did not include the price of the earrings she wore, not the bangles, her diamond-tipped twos, or the necklace around her throat. It did not help her that her various hangers-on, as many as the princess and engineered, were equally overdressed, but not so nearly unaware as the effect this could have on her image. Luna's entire ensemble, by contrast, probably cost less than 100 bits. Even the crown, which was being forced for pure magic, had cost Luna nothing. It was extraordinarily tiring, that was the point, and Poussins had been avoiding Luna all night, probably in a vain attempt to not make herself look like a fool while standing next to the princess, even going so far as to spend nearly half an hour near the buffet and to have some punch. Not that she cared in particular what any pony attending the gala itself thought, but there were photographers that had to be considered. Last thing she needed was an article on Equestrian Nightlight, commenting on her total disconnect from the common pony, as evidenced by her dress compared to those of the Ponyvillians. Never mind that she had been aware that the Ponyvillians would be in attendance at all tonight. All in all, it was her making gala experience that was quite unpleasant. She couldn't do anything as untoward as leaving early. What she needed more than anything right now was a buffer, such as she could do that could only be seen in a positive light, which would deflect attention away from the fact that she was tremendously overdressed. Unfortuitously, Her Majesty, consciously or not, had seen fit to provide Poussins with just such a buffer, and the floor on the playground seemed crafted. Fools. Poussins said to her assembled sycophants as he slid up to the low wall that surrounded the play area. She used the wing to gesture to the play area. I find it delightful there are so many in attendance at the gala this year. Oh, yes, said one of the sycophants. A baronet, whose name Poussins couldn't be bothered to recall, said, Yes, Your Excellency. In fact, just the other day I was remarking to my wife that my baronetcy, a fine little village in Cornetto called... Poussins turned him out, even as he smiled down at him, pretending to acknowledge him and give him a sense of importance. She simply bided her time with her own thoughts. She finished speaking. I think, Poussins said, that the Night Court should, in its next meeting, concern itself with the affairs of the education system. In Palermo, we have begun to enforce province-wide standards and provide a provincial test that must be passed to graduate from secondary educational schools. Perhaps this could be implemented across the nations. The sycophants agreed without question, of course. That was why they were sycophants. But Poussins heard a voice speaking from nearby. Sorry, but what standards? But what standards? Poussins turned around at the voice, smiling politely. She was not surprised to find herself staring at a Ponyvillian. A magenta earth pony, bedeckled in a purple and red dress, and looked like she was more prepared for a comparatively garden party than a gala. What was surprising was that Poussins recognized the mare. Black Cherry Lady Punch, one of the elements of harmony. Why do I just think that Rarity had been working overtime tonight?
That was 100 dresses in 5 days, thank you.
That meant I was going at a record pace of 20 dresses per day. Ugh. Oh, Poussin said, smiling down at the pony, being ignorance. I do not believe we've been introduced. You are Shirley, the pony said. I'm a teacher from Ponyville. Shirley's humility, not mentioning her status as an element, and using an informal pseudonym, used Poussin's. Pegasus' smile grew slightly as he spread her wings wide. And I am Poussin's Nocelonce's Apprentice Golo, Vice-Dean of Palermo et Canterlot. Usually this was when most ponies, the ones who hadn't recognized her on sight, known to steer well clear of her, were excessively impressed, perhaps even a little mortified. Shirley, however, only tilted her head to the side somewhat. You're not on the Committee of National Education, she noted. Can you even propose any kind of educational reforms? Poussin smiled didn't leave her face. Shirley thought she was being brave. Most likely the little mare from the little town standing up to the signs in a big bad rice rain. It was quite adorable in a way. Indeed not, Poussin said, looking over her shoulder as she tucked away one wing, while she used the other to gesture to one of her sycophants, a squirrely little stallion. He came forward at her obvious command. But Lord Lusant here, my apologies, Viscount Lusant, Skull of Connecticut, is indeed the head of the Committee on the National Educational Standards within the Night Court. While Palermo has some of the highest educational standards and best schools in all Equestria, with Cal and Furlong not far behind, I'm certain that, working together, we can vastly improve Equestria's educational system. Shirley looked to the Viscount, took a look at nobility and determination, nodding. The teacher's head tilted to her side a little further as he looked at Poussin's. That's not actually true, she said. Poussin smiled at her waver, though she did blink. I beg your pardon. Well, Shirley said, first, it was discovered last year that Palermo's standards were being kept artificially high. It was only using its top 100 best secondary schools to calculate them, rather than an aggregate of every school in the province. There probably should have been some kind of scandal, but it just disappeared. Poussin offered a sigh that was in no way really a sigh of relief over the fact that he had, in fact, been able to make that problem disappear. Yes, I recall, she said. Still, most recent studies still place Palermo as one of the most educated provinces in Equestria. It is largely thanks to our tests, which shows that the educators are teaching students what they need to know to succeed in the world today. But the tests have been getting progressively easier over the past 10 years, making the schools look like they are doing much better than they are, Shirley noted. Then there's the idea of standards in the first place. The Palermo test forces teachers to teach only what is on the test in order to prepare her students. But as a result, the teachers had to skip over other areas that might be considered important, such as ancient equestrian history, celestial mechanics, literature, or many liberal arts, in favor of increasingly abstract math and science with limited practical application. The Christ-crowned Lucide looked somewhat drink at the point. The equestrian educational system has always valued history and literature, he noted, and Poussin glared at him. He wisely whiled away from the conversation, stepping back in line with our sycophants, who were staring at the spectacle before them. Poussin needed to recover. Miss Shirley, Poussin said, I understand your concerns, but I assure you that the faces of the foals are the only thing driving my actions. Poussin stepped closer to the low wall to separate the play area from the rest of the gala. I have had 7 foals, she remarked, and many grand foals, and indeed recently I was even blessed with a great grand colt, who is here tonight. I have, being a vice-reine, made sure that they have all received the best of educations. What I wish, Miss Shirley, is to assert that the same standards of education I had the tutors of my foals and grand foal and great grand foal. But those tutors were allowed to teach at their own pace, Shirley pointed out, and adapt to what they were teaching to their individual students, weren't they? A standardized test would prevent that. Perhaps, but do you have to think of the foals, Miss Shirley? Florence insisted. She looked into a play area and put on her best smile when she saw a familiar face. Pegasus colt hanging upside down on a jungle gym next to a crag unicorn filly was Pegasus' mother, who had just nuzzled her before heading off into the gala. Scepter, would you come here for a moment? Scepter's eyes widened at the familiar voice, and when he looked at it, he saw Poussin's. his great-grandmother, by way of her first daughter's eldest son. Almost instantly, he was on the ground, as was his playmate, though he hesitated for a moment before trying forward. The great unicorn encouraged him.
Hello, Grandma Poussance, he said.
Hi, Miss Shirley,
The unicorn filly said, with much more enthusiasm as he waved to Cheerily. Their flying teacher returned the wave. Even as he finished the low conversation with the maitre d', that appeared from nowhere and disappeared just as fast. Poussance barely appeared to maitre d's mind in the first place, though he acknowledged this one might pricey. She had little interest in whatever it was that Cheerily had discussed with her. There was a very slight nagging feeling in Poussance's mind, but she paid it no heed as he focused on Cheerily.
Scepter, my sweet little coat,
Poussance said, leaning down to him.
I believe that Inkblot is your tutor right now, correct?
Scepter shifted uncomfortably. He was younger than his new unicorn friend, though that didn't seem to matter to the young filly. His bearing didn't seem to match his regal alley name at all. It certainly didn't make him appear like the Cole who would one day inherit the title of Viceroy, ahead of the House of Borrascolo. He would grow into it, Poussance was sure. That was why she had insisted his name be such. Damn what her grandson had wanted to be. He wanted to be something a name like Flicker.
Come now, Scepter,
Poussance pressed.
what's the matter?
Scepter looked away at his great-grandmother.
Daddy says I'm not supposed to tell you.
All at once, the magical enchantment keeping the ice palace warm seemed to fail, at least for Poussance. She couldn't keep herself from glancing back at Cheerily.
I beg your pardon?
Daddy says I'm not supposed to talk to you either,
Scepter said.
because he says you're real mean. You wouldn't like it if I said that Inkblot isn't tutoring me, because he's real mean too. So that's why I've been going to public school even though I'm a noble, because it's important for me to make real friends.
Poussance drew back from Scepter, eyes narrow.
Now, Scepter,
Poussance flexed her wings pensively.
you really shouldn't be lying to your great-grandmother if it's not good for her heart.
But the doctors say you have a heart like an ox, said her objecting. And Daddy says it's too bad too.
Poussance's face contorted when she heard that. The insolence! How dare Banner? No doubt that this was his idea for events, just for the fete that he arranged for his mother, Poussance's eldest daughter Regalia, to be locked out in night court, and in fete had to be sent to ambassador to Tapira. Poussance had entirely been justified, though, as Regalia had been trying to convince Poussance to leave the court, take Poussance's power for her own. Poussance wouldn't abandon her viceroyalty, not while there was an ounce of blood flowing through her veins, not while she had a single breath to breathe, not while... Flash! Poussance blinked, glanced over to the side. She saw a pony with a camera, a flashing bulb cutie mark. Instantly her brain did some quick mental math and perspective adjustments, realized that at the moment the photograph was taken, due to the angles, she could have appeared to glaring down hate at a little foal. Specifically, the great unicorn accompanying Scepter, who was in the way of Scepter himself. More importantly, the teacher Cheerily would be in shot, looking nervous or concerned. Vice-Free Poussance hates Ponyville Voles, the headline would read. Poussance came to three conclusions. First, her grandson needed to be taught a lesson in power, and would likely learn it when he joined his mother in Tapira, or else received his own ambassadorship in the Griffin Kingdoms, if Poussance could arrange it. Second, the freelance photographers at Canterlot were entirely too adept finding precisely the right moment to take precisely the wrong photograph. The freedom of the press probably needed to be curtailed for public events such as a gala. Third, she needed that camera now. Unfortunately, the photographer seemed to realize exactly what he had, and quickly turned on the hose and fled. Not so fast as to draw attention to himself, but far quicker than Poussance was entirely happy with. Wait! Stop! She demanded, taking off after him. Cheerily watched her go, trailed by her sycophants. Perhaps they were about to become spectators to an embarrassing event they didn't want to miss. She looked down to Scepter and Dinky, a smile on her face.
How was your night?
She asked.
Great, Miss Shirley, Dinky said, pointing down to Scepter. This is one of my new friends. His name is Scepter, but he likes being called Flicker instead. He's inherited the vice royalty of Ponyville and Canterlot.
Air. Cheerily corrected automatically.
Yes, it's silent. Oh, but I'm not your teacher tonight, am I? You should turn off with your new friend and have fun.
She looked at Scepter, who in the absence of his great mother, looked more at ease.
It's a pleasure meeting you. Your Excellency,
she told him, giving a very formal brow. Scepter giggled.
I'm not viceroy yet,
he said, but I am the Baronet of Cavison. But my daddy holds it in trust until I grow up. I'm just Flicker. At least that's what my daddy calls me. Well, whatever you are, Shirley said, you seem like a fine young pony, Flicker. You should go have fun with Dinky.
We will.
Dinky said with a nod, and the two foals galloped off towards the nearest swing set. Cedric's wings flickering in short bursts to give him extra speed. His technique seemed to feed him much better than his given one. Shirley laughed a little at the eager display before turning around, following after Poussons. This was too good to miss. She needed to stay on Poussons anyway. She tapped one hoof to her earring.
I've got Poussons occupied,
She told Trixie.
kept Suzanne away.
Made her think I had already poisoned her.
Great, Trixie said. I'm up at the balcony. I think I can see what's Poussons doing.
Hopefully, an intermission show. Shirley said with a slight giggle.
Let's just say that the pony sees Stacy took a photograph
At a really bad time.
Oh, I'm going to miss it.
I'll see about getting more photographs. Cheerily asserted Trixie. Whether by chance or design, Luna's ice palette had included a small room set off by itself on the second floor, away from the rest of the gala, a little more than a glorified alcove, with a window covered in paper-thin rice and only a small door inside. It was the perfect place for Octavia Filimoranca to take her 15-minute break for the gala. She didn't really need to break, for all the gala was the most prestigious event in all of Equestria. It was really trying on her skills, so all she and her fellow musicians were expected to do was providing them out background music. The room kept the hustle and bustle of Polly's outside to a minimum, providing a welcome respite from the sound of her music and Polly's in general, giving her ears a break from the noise. Half the music, however, after all, came from silence rather than sound, the space between notes that would give the whole form. It was good to just sit and quiet for a little bit, eyes closed to listen to her own breathing in. Octavia's ears twitched. She opened her eyes, expecting to find a pony in the room with her. But instead, found herself still alone in a room, the door to it still closed. She was about to put the sounds she thought she heard to her imagination. Even she wasn't immune to the cases of false sensation. When she looked up down at her host, and found herself still staring at a small glass full of punch. Octavia backed away from the glass. Eyes wide, she glanced around the room again, checking behind her. She had not come in here with any drink, which meant that some pony had brought it in. Some pony she couldn't see. Her sight, however, was not her best sense. She slowly but carefully tried herself into the corner of the room, ears slowly about her head as she tried to listen for a breathing that would have been out of place, or the telltale simmering of a unicorn's magic, even as she held her own breath. After several moments, however, she continued to hear nothing. Octavia frowned at that. Vibrations and a multitude of gallows ponies outside the room would make the next particular trick of hers work even less than it might have, but she nevertheless closed her eyes, beginning to hum a short, simple tune. She listened to the sound of it, and more importantly, the way it reflected off the icy walls, floor, and ceiling of the room she was in. Octavia was familiar enough with the acoustics as she could tell, as she focused, the difference in sound between a room that had only one occupant and a room that had more than one. Octavia opened her eyes, glancing around. Apart from herself and the mysterious glass of punch, there didn't appear to be any pony in the room. The musician blinked a few times. It was, she supposed it was possible that some pony had simply teleported the drink into the room, but she didn't know any unicorns that could do that, least of all without line of sight. Octavia shook her head as she went for the door, poignantly ignoring the glass of punch. Something was going on here, and she didn't like it. She was not going to engage whoever had procured the punch for her in their little game. She placed her hoof against the door. Wait. Hang on. Octavia nearly lifted from her coat at the sudden sound in the room as she twirled around. She found herself staring her eyes at an otherwise empty room. Or at least it was empty, at the other end, until a cloud of blue smoke appeared from nowhere. It stopped quickly, pulling off the pony beneath it like steam. And the next thing Octavia knew, she was advancing on Trixie Little Moon with the firm intent to buck the unicorn squarely in the jaw. Little Moon realized her intention and raised her hooves.
Wait. I'm sorry. I just needed to test out my new silence spell, and I brought punch and cake, so you can't be mad.
Indeed, causing Little Moon's telekinetic roar was a plate, as she swiftly grabbed the punch from the floor as well, holding both for it as a mixture of peace offering and shield. It was enough to make Octavia draw short, glaring down at Lulamoon's innocently smiling face. Only because I would most likely take him undressed, Octavia said, jabbing a hoof at Trixie. Lulamoon's smile became ever more innocent.
I just needed to test out my new improved sound spell. That's all.
She repeated, making sure to keep the cake between herself and Octavia.
I thought it worked better if you didn't know I was coming, though.
One of Octavia's eyes twitched. She had a deep, abiding dislike of Lulamoon. She could not for the life of her see what her protege, Lyra, saw in her to make the two friends. I'm not your guinea pig, she insisted.
I know. And it was wrong of me. Cake? No. Okay. Did it work?
Octavia's eyes twitched again. She turned around, making to leave, before a nagging question at the back of her mind stopped her. Letting out a long, suffering sigh of her own curiosity. She turned around, glaring at Trixie.
Yes,
she said, sitting down. I have to ask, how? You can't simply be negating the sound. I would notice the effect on the room's acoustics. Lulamoon smiled from innocent to smug, though she kept the cake between her and Octavia.
Well, I got to thinking, she said. There's more than one way to turn invisible, right? You can just put up an illusion in front of you, or whatever's behind you. But then moving around becomes a pain. And you have to keep one eye behind you to make sure you're copying things right. Or you can bend light around you. That's easier. But it creates a kind of blob, like this.
She telekinetically grabbed a glass of pots and wove an invisibility enchantment over it. Octavia could see what she meant, as it moved under her telekinetic grip. Light was simply bent around it, creating an indistinct but notable blur.
That's good for a low light, or if no pony's really looking. But it doesn't really take anything out of you, right? But then what do you do when it's bright, or you know some pony's looking for you?
Lulamoon finally sat down on her cake, but only to wave her hose over herself, cloaking herself in an invisibility spell. Though she did nothing to hide her sound, she trotted along the wall towards the door, then back. While Octavia could follow Lulamoon by ear, she couldn't see her, or any of the telltale shift in light that her previous spell had used. Once she was back, Lulamoon made herself visible again.
That spell, she said, works by making light just kind of phase through you. Doesn't interact with you at all, so it goes right on through. Perfect invisibility. Used to be the kind that hard on the horn, but I've gotten real good at it.
Octavia stared with eyes half-lidded. That does not answer my question, she asked. Trixie smiled grew.
You'll like this, she insisted. Basically, I thought to myself, sound has to work the same way, right? I created a ghost sound shield that you're supposed to be hearing, but somebody like you would notice the difference. I can bend the sound around me, but still at least a humming trick you have. So, and I've been working on this for weeks now.
Her horn glowed again, as she encased her body in a visible blue glow, before beginning to prance in place. However, no sound came from her, until Octavia, who held out a quick tone for her own benefit, if not Lulamoon's, noted that, indeed, the kisses of the room had notably changed. Nancy's there was only a single occupant inside, rather than two. It was, in short, impossible to locate Lulamoon by sound. Lulamoon settled down for her display, smiling at Octavia.
What do you think?
Octavia stared at Lulamoon. It looks, she grunted, standing up again and leaving. There's nothing stopping her now. Trixie watched her go, before sighing a little, tucking into the cakes he brought up, as well as the punts. It was basically served as a light snack in between proposed cocktails.
Atente, tournemonte,
she mourned. On the other hand, her spell worked. If it could be Octavia's hearing, it would be more than a match for Zane's, she was sure.